Hello puzzlers, I am back for another video. So today I am going to be tackling something that I have been putting off for a very long time. So I bought this puzzle about 2 months ago with the idea to get it built as soon as possible because I saw it and I thought this looks fantastic and a great challenge. However, when I got it, I looked at it and since seeing it, I've just been putting it off and off and off. So what puzzle do we have? We have this. We have the Neon Green KRYPT puzzle by Ravensburger, which is 736 pieces of pure pain, torture and frustration. Now, anyone that's done a KRYPT puzzle before has said to me that they are hard, very, very difficult. And yeah, I'm expecting this to be a real challenge. So what's a KRYPT puzzle? As you can see from the front of the box, the KRYPT puzzle is pure neon green pieces of puzzles, and it is such a bizarre little shape. It's 736 pieces. There are some round bits, there's square normal shapes, and yeah, there's all sorts going on. It is just a solid colour, and I think this is going to take quite a while to do. So what we'll do, we'll zoom in for a quick look at the box and a look at the different shapes and the pattern on the back, and then we'll get it open and yeah, see what the fun's all about. So this is it. This is the KRYPT Neon Green 736 piece puzzle. Now the KRYPT puzzles are part of a range. So this is just the one I chose. I love green, it's my favourite colour, and that's why I went for this one. In the series, there is all black, there's gold ones, there is silver ones, and there's even a gradient coloured one and one that reflects like a picture of the sky. So it's like meant to be the skylight. So it's all black with a few dots around for the sky, which looks quite interesting. Now the KRYPT puzzles are not all the same cut. So there are a couple of different varieties of cut and also a couple of varieties of different piece counts. Some in the 600s, some in the 700s. So not every piece is the same. Now look at the box, it's typical Ravensburger. It's got the Ravensburger logo on the side here, and then it's packaged really well. So as you'd expect from a Ravensburger product, the packaging is great. It's a lovely looking box. It has the typical Ravensburger logo in the bottom, which I really like. And then, yeah, it's quite a funky design. It's got the piece on the front, which shows the puzzle with some of the pieces out. It's got this lovely KRYPT logo. And yeah, just a great quality box. So you can see around the sides, it has the lot number, the size. And then if we turn it over and look at the back, let me zoom into that and you can actually see the shape. So yeah, there you go. That's what the piece actually looks like. So it's a very strange picture, to be honest. So it's going to be quite interesting to build. You've kind of got, you've got the straight edges, kind of. So you might be able to make out the straight edges there. And then you have this circle piece in the middle with almost like a quadrant circle section coming out either side. And then just in the bottom right and the top left, you have almost this, they're almost like normal shaped pieces. It's almost like a normal puzzle mixed with a circle puzzle. And yeah, I think that's going to be quite interesting to do. Also, if you look at the pieces, so you see some pieces look like double pieces. So it looks like there's two pieces in one. Some are singular. There's all sorts of different shapes and sizes. So when we come to build this, it's going to be quite difficult. Now, when I build it, I'm going to try and not look at the back too much because I do want to challenge myself and not look at the actual shape of it. I'll just go by the colour, but we'll see how we get on. Now, what we'll do, let me zoom back out again, and I'm going to open this puzzle and see what it looks like inside. get this lid off and have a look. Oh wow. So I don't know how well the camera's going to pick that up, but they are proper green pieces. Okay, so what this is, it's almost like a puzzle guide. As you see there in English, puzzle guide. And this is a sealed envelope. And in there, I believe it's got a big printout, which may be the same size as the puzzle. And that is basically showing you what goes where. Now it's, I believe from seeing it, it is going to be the same size. And it's a pure, just white picture with the black outlines of the pieces, so you can compare the pieces to get them in. Now, I don't want to use this. What I'm going to try and do is build it without this. But we'll see as we go on to how well I'm doing. So I'll just chuck that to a side and let's get these pieces opened. And there we have it. That is the pieces for the Neon Green KRYPT puzzle. So let's get a couple of these pieces out and have a look, shall we? Okay, so my first thoughts on this is that it's going to be an edge piece. However, it's hard to tell because I'm so used to doing normal shaped puzzles that would be the normal piece, and that then doesn't look like an edge. However, I'm guessing it kind of sits like that. So we've got shapes like this. We got your very much normal shapes there, so that's quite obvious. Here's one of your double shaped pieces. Let's see if I can find a round one. Okay, there's another interesting piece there. It's like a double corner piece. Oh, what else do we have? Okay, so they are all different sizes as well. So even the normal pieces, you've got 3 different sizes there just in one little pick. So yeah, I think this jigsaw is going to keep me on my toes. Ah, here we go. Right, so that is one of the circle pieces. So that is very obvious how it stands out. There's another one against square pieces. So I think what I'm going to do, when I come to sort this, I'm going to pour them all out and almost go through a shape sort. So I'm going to get all the bits that look like it may be on edge, all the bits that look like a square bit, and then all the bits that look like they may go in a circle. So that's going to give me 3 distinct sections, hopefully. It may all go wrong. And then from there, I'm probably going to look at building the edge, then look at what sections looking easiest as to whether I do the circle part or the edges. Okay, so the pieces themselves, let's try and get some light on that. You can kind of see that it's not too matte. I was a bit worried that this would be a really matte finish. Now, I've not got the lights on in here, so it doesn't glare too much. So what, let me stick a light on. And let's see how much glare we get off this piece. Okay, so not a lot, to be honest. You can see a tiny bit. However, that is not too bad. So I think doing this, whether you do it in natural light or nighttime light, I think that's going to be okay. So the piece is typical Ravensburger quality. You've got the normal blue backing, and yeah, it's quite thick. That is not bending. I'm quite happy with that. So this should be quite a sturdy piece. And at the bottom, in pure fashion, you're going to get a lot of puzzle dust, but we'll get rid of that as we're going. Okay, right, let me start the sort. I'm going to do the sort in a little time lapse, get it into its piles, and then we'll go from there. I think what I'm going to do with this one is once I've done the sort, I will maybe do like an hour, see how I get on, and then stop and do a little quick little talk to see how I'm getting on, and just do maybe every hour check in and see how I'm getting on. So I'm going to try a video that way for a change and see how that comes out. Okay, so I'm 27 minutes in and I've done a complete sort of all the puzzle. So basically I have all of the edge pieces here from what I believe are edge pieces. And then over here, I've got all the bits that I believe are going to be the circle part in the middle. Then over here, I've had to spread this a bit. I've kind of got this whole board here, and then it ran over just into this tub here, and that is all the rest of it. So that's all the edge pieces that look like they're on the side. Now, when I was doing it, there are some pieces, like this one, for example, where it looks curved. So I think it's curved, however, I could be wrong. And I know there's some in here that, like this one there, is probably going to be a straight one, not curved. And vice versa, if I go into this pile here, I can pretty much guarantee there is going to be some curved ones. So if I take this piece, for example, that there, put it against the blue back in, that could be curved or it could be a solid square edge section. I really don't know. So basically what I've done is pretty much done all the circle ones there, and then if I need any more after that, I'm just going to have to go rooting through here, I think. So I'm going to spend the next half an hour. I think I'm going to change the plan slightly, and if you look at these parts here, I can clearly tell that's the middle, and then these bits here, such tight circles, I am going to be able to build them up quite quick. So because I was going to do this in hour sections, I'm going to spend the next 32 minutes just doing a little bit of the middle piece, try and get as much of the circle done before I start tackling the edge. So I'm going to do half an hour of the circle, then go straight into an hour of the edge and a bit more circle, and I'll come back after 2 hours and see where we are. Okay, so we're 2 hours in, and what I've done so far is this circle piece here, as you can see. Now I started with that, and then I moved on to the edge pieces. Now, when I started on here, this is quite easy. Once I've done the sorting, I could see obviously the centerpiece, and then these bits with the really tight radius on them were quite obvious of where they go. So I put that together fairly easily. Now all these other circle bits, it's not apparent completely where they go, because I know from looking at the box earlier that actually it kind of circles out and then it goes into different patterns, so it's really difficult to actually know how it's going to be without looking at the boxes or that cheat sheet. So once I'd done that, I basically put this to the side, and for the last hour I've literally just done the edges. Now, when doing these edges, I kind of had to make a lot of assumptions. A lot of this puzzle is assumption based. So what I decided to do was kind of just take almost like an obvious approach. So I separated all these edges into little bits. So all these bits like this with different shapes and weird looking bits I left alone. And what I did, I started by getting all of these, the narrow bits, and I made the assumption that, okay, they're probably going to go together. So I did all that, and lo and behold, it did. It formed this edge here. Now, I didn't know where that went at that point, so I just left that down the bottom. I then started by getting all the ones that are this shape. So they're like tall and thin. So I got all of them, and then basically just went through and trying to piece getting another piece, trying it on all the bits that are here, getting another piece, and slowly I'd have lots of pieces here, and as I'm grabbing one, I'll find where it goes, and then it just slowly built up into a few little rows, which then allowed me to finish this bit and this bit here. Now, that was the easy part. When I got down here, that's where all the different angles and stuff started to come, and that's where it got pretty difficult. Up till then, it was quite a standard puzzle, just no picture. But yeah, this bit's difficult, and what I've done, I still don't know if it's 100% correct, because if you look over here, for example, none of this is connected, so that all just kind of sits there. Now, because this is a crypt puzzle, and I know it's odd, it's a bit different, and it's meant to distract you and almost trick you, so I think it may be right. It looks good, and same here. It looks good, but it's just weird how it doesn't fix, and I don't like that. That worries me. But when you look closely, you can actually see that they do kind of go together. So what I'm thinking is that once I put pieces in here and here, for example, that's going to lock it all together. Now, I had all these pieces as well, and as you can see, it's got these little flat edges on. Now, at first I thought that was part of the edge, but once I was going through, it quickly showed to me that it wasn't. So if you look at this piece here, that's flat, which I initially thought, okay, that's an edge piece. But if you look, the tongue actually sticks out further than the flat bits. That obviously can't be a flat. So what I've done, I've just left them there for now. Now, what I'm going to do from here on in, for the next hour, I'm probably going to work on this circle part. I'm going to try and get a few more of these parts in and just build this up. Now, I've not looked at the box yet, but I may have to turn the box upside down. So I can just look at the box on the back just to see roughly what the shape looks like. And then, yeah, I'm just going to try and get as much of this together as I can, even if I'm left with lots of bits like this, where there's just a few bits together, that's okay. And then from there, I'll then look at moving on to the edge pieces, depending on how far I get with this. Right, quick 3-hour update. So yeah, so this is what I've done so far. You've obviously seen the edge, but I've just spent the last hour just trying to get some of this middle done. And I think I've done all right. I've gone through most of the pieces that I could find. However, yeah, I've started to struggle a bit. I've got a few pieces here together. I've started to realise that some of these are probably not circle pieces like I first thought. So yeah, I'm just gonna put them back into the normal pile. I'm gonna put everything back, and then going to resort quickly and then go again from there. So what I'm going to do, I've just emptied the box out, so I'm going to show this now, and I want to try and reorientate the puzzle just so it looks like the back of the box. I've not looked at this yet, so I think I've done all right. So as we're looking, yeah, looking at the two corner pieces, that is pretty much where it needs to be, okay? So now I just want to try and orientate this circle. I think the best way of doing that is going to be to look at this centerpiece here and try and get it orientated the right way. So it kind of goes. Oh, I'm breaking it. Yeah, it kind of goes like that. Yeah, kind of like there. And then you can see from the box that this here, yeah, that starts to come up as a line. This one comes up as a line, and this has some big pieces coming off it. So I know big pieces around the middle, and same on this side here, that goes up. And then this bit here, I think, is actually pretty much done. Yeah, so I would say this bit here is actually complete. But looking at this box here, you can see there's lots of different size pieces, but it seems as though all these normal looking pieces are all in this top corner here and this middle part here. So I may try and segregate it into normal looking pieces and non-normal looking pieces, and then I'll decide then whether I start doing this bit, that bit, or these two here. So yeah, I'm going to do a sort and then do the next hour. Right, so I would say right, so that's 4 hours in. Yeah, I've got to admit, I'm struggling a little bit, and this has now got difficult. So at the start of that hour, I kind of carried on with these big pieces. So to be fair, I got these bits in quite quick, because they're some of the larger parts. I then added onto this, and I've also built up a load of these. But now, I've got to the point where nothing is really jumping out at me. So I am now going to go away and do a quick sort. I want to get 3 piles. I want to get, if I show you this board, 2 seconds. So this is what I've got left and a few bits on the table. So what I want to do is kind of get a pile of that sort of shape, so the ones that are completely irregular, a pile of the smaller ones, and then a pile of the ones that are obviously quite a bit bigger, like this sort of shape. So I want 3 piles so that when I'm going through it, I can then work on each section. So I'm probably then going to work on either this section or this section and kind of start putting some of the normal shapes. So the reason I'm going to do that is because obviously if I shape sort it as well, I know what's going to go in here. I know it's going to be 2 ins and 2 outs, and then kind of work my way up and see what I can do from there, and just see if I can get some fitting to start building up. So we're 5 hours in, and I've had maybe 5 or 6 days off this now. I haven't touched it, and I've come to get it all out and start again, and my timer's died. So I've sorted that back out, but it was at 5 hours, so I'm just going to have to start again. So what did we do in the last hour? So last time I kind of just tried to go through some of the bigger bits, filled in a few of these parts, and then kind of just all the bits that I had out like these, I kind of just started to build out here and this side. So I think what I'm going to do now, because I've had a couple of days off, I cannot remember where I was or what I was doing. So I think I'm just going to have an hour and kind of refamiliarise myself with the puzzle. I'm just going to start building and seeing where I get to with this. So that's what I'm going to do for the next hour. Right, so that's 6 hours in, and yeah, as you can see, I've actually started to connect a few bits. So this middle circle piece is now connected on both bottom edges to get it to this corner. yeah, so I'm really pleased with that. I basically went through looking for all of the bigger pieces, like around here. Some of these are really big standout pieces, and I just kind of tried until it fitted, and I made some assumptions and took some guesses. For example, here I would have made an assumption it was one of these pieces. So tried it, and rather than look for one of the 3-prong pieces, it just looks like it may be one of the 2s. So yeah, I just kind of made some assumptions. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. The other thing I did was I kind of started to follow these lines. Where is it? So I saw this piece here and saw that, okay, that's got an edge on it. That has to be a weird sort of place. So I went for all the odd sort of shaped ones with the little off bits there, and I managed to get one in. That then allowed me just to start going up and up and up. I then got these in, and yeah, that's how it's all come together really. So I think for the next hour, I'm just going to carry on doing the same and try to fill a few more of the gaps in. Seven hours in, and I've made good progress, chipping away at it. And yeah, not really a lot to say, to be honest. All I've done is basically getting all the big bits I can find, the biggest bits I can, because I know they're going to be around the outside somewhere, and I'm just trying to place them now. I'm literally putting them down, seeing what happens, and eventually they're just going to gradually get less and less and less. And then I'm saving all the small pieces. I'm saving till the end, which is here. It's kind of this little section here, and also just down here. So I want that and these to be the last. That then is just going to be literally a case of just pick and place. So I'm going to stop, and then on the next part, I'm just going to carry on as I've been doing and see how I get in the next hour. So here we are after 8 hours. This is pretty much where I'm up to. As you can see, I've done most of the big bits. I've done the circle in the middle, the circle part on the outside, and down here. And what is left is basically all these normal shape pieces. And this up here is all full of normal shape pieces as well. There are a few parts left that I've got to get in here. Let me just show you those. So these are the sorted large bits that I've got left. As you can see, I've still got the shape sort going on. So I've got lines of all the different bits I've got. And I've condensed it down here. I've brought all the bits of weird shaped edges just into this little section here. So I think what I'm going to do next is just try and get a few more of these on before I move on to the small pieces. So before I go, let me show you how many small pieces I've got left. So that is it. As you can see, there's not many left. And I think after this hour, I'm probably going to condense this all onto one board and then just work from that and get everything finished off. So this is me at 9 hours in.
And to be fair, it looks like it's come along really well. It really does. However, I'm starting to find this really difficult. I'm starting to struggle a lot. Now, in the last little section, one thing I did notice, as I was going, let me just zoom in. I noticed that these parts here was part of the big pile as well. And I managed to get through this really quick. So I just put these in maybe in a couple of minutes. And then they started getting smaller as they would go across. And then I'm back to being just kind of looking blindly and trying to put them in again. But anyway, that is how we are. And one thing I have done, I've managed to condense all of the pieces onto this one board. So that is all I have left. So I've still got it separated in my shape sorted large pieces. And I've then got all the other smaller pieces. Now, some of these are a bit larger. Now, most of the large ones have gone. So I'm just going to go through and see how I get on with the next little piece. Right, so I have hit the 10-hour mark. You see that it's 5, but obviously remember from before, I'd already done a 5-hour stint, and then it reset. So I am at the 10-hour mark now, and you can see here that I've done all of these middle bits. There's just a few left here, and maybe a few around here. The rest are all looking like they're square edges. It's now getting to the point where it's getting quite difficult. I'm struggling to actually get any rhythm and find places where I can keep putting in and in and in, because every part is now pretty much looking the same. What I'll do quickly is show you over here. So this is all I've got left. These are all my big pieces, and then they're starting to go slowly into smaller pieces, and then over here are all the small ones. So yeah, what I've decided to do now I've hit the 10-hour mark, I'm not going to do any more updates. I am just going to fully run through it and get this done now, and I'll do one final talk at the end of it, and we'll discuss what I've done.
Oh, I'm done. What will that take? 13.5 hours. Here it is, the crypt. I've finally done it. So to say that was eventful is putting it lightly. What an interesting puzzle. Yeah, where to begin? So, as you saw from the time lapses and the videos, I started doing a chat every hour just to talk about how I was getting on. However, towards the end of the puzzle, especially when I was getting down to these bits, I wouldn't do too much in an hour sometimes. I'd just be sat there, maybe putting a few things in. So when I got to the 10-hour mark, I decided, right, it's now to the point where I'm just picking up pieces, placing them in, and seeing how I get on. So I thought, right, I'm just going to finish it and do it until the end. So in total, the time was just under 13 hours and 30 minutes. So yeah, so I did, if you remember the time lapses, when I got to the 10-hour point, all I had left was just some bits up here and some bits down there. So maybe 150 pieces, 200 pieces, 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours to do all those pieces, which to me is incredible. But it was very hard. One thing I did notice towards the end of doing that section was, I don't know if you can see on the camera, but as it starts down the bottom, the bits are very tall, and as they come up, they get shorter and shorter and shorter. And likewise, going from the side inwards, they start wide and get narrower and narrower and narrower. So some points here, you'll have like a very tall but skinny piece, and over here you'll have a tall and wide piece. Up here you'll have a skinny piece in both directions, and here you'll have skinny and wide in the lengthways. So I started to be able to look at pieces and kind of limit what I was going for. So when I ended up shape sorting and putting them in, when I was looking for a piece, for example, I might have looked for this one, which had 3 prongs and an innie. I'd know that that's actually taller and a little bit skinnier, so I can actually look at the pieces and just almost chuck some out already. I can look and go, well, it's definitely not that one, definitely not that one, definitely not that one, which leaves me a handful to try. But doing that across a whole puzzle is very difficult. Anyway, yeah, so you'll be very pleased to know, I am, that I didn't use the puzzle guide. I was going to open it up on this video just to show you, however, I can't find it. So if I do find it, what I'll do, I'll stick a picture up on a post, just so you can see what it's like on the inside. But yeah, I've been doing this puzzle for about 2-3 weeks, and somehow it's just got misplaced. So it'll be in the house somewhere. But yeah, so my overall thoughts of the puzzle, it is very, very difficult. Really hard puzzle, but really fun. It wasn't hard to the point that I was pulling my hair out and thinking, I don't want to do this anymore. There was enough to keep me engaged. For example, having the circle bits and having square bits did keep me engaged a little bit, because if I got bored of doing one part, I could just move around the board and it's not all samey. Whereas I know some single colour puzzles are just normal shaped pieces, which would be, would be very difficult and not probably that enjoyable. However, I would recommend doing one of these. If you like a challenge and you enjoy a little bit of frustration, but also the satisfaction of getting something like this done, I would really recommend it. I will be purchasing another one. What I want to do, I did say at the start, there's maybe 5, 6, 7 in the set, and they're all different piece counts, and they're all different, there's a different cuts as well. I know there is maybe another 1 or 2 in this cut, in the same amount of pieces. So what I might do is leave this one built, because I'm not building this again, and actually get those, build another one, and then maybe start switching them around and making some different colour patterns, and just try a different approach to actually building it. Now I've done one, see if different approaches will help, which I think it will. It'd be lovely to try and get it in under 10 hours. However, I think that's extremely, that's wishful thinking, to say the least. And then the other ones, there are some with piece counts of 600 and something and all different ones. So I'm going to try a few because they are really enjoyable and I'll be adding to the collection. So I hope you liked the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't already and look out for the next one. Thank you very much.